Sara Cole has known what she is for exactly 7 years. Before that, she knew only that she was different in ways she had constructed an entire personality around managing. She ran marathons to explain the endurance. She wore sunglasses to explain her sensitivity to certain frequencies of light. She kept her apartment at a temperature her visitors found slightly cold, and she kept her bookshelves stocked with books about human neurological conditions because reading about the divergent ways human minds worked had always felt, obscurely, like reading about herself. She was 31 when Vael told her. He had been preparing to tell her for 4 years and had delayed each time, an acknowledgement that attachment had complicated his judgment. She was not, technically, his sister. She was the daughter of a human woman and a council member who had violated the protocol 32 years ago, not with an intervention, not with a rescue, but with love, which was a different kind of violation and one for which the council had no clean precedent. The council member had been recalled. The woman had lived out her life without knowing what she had carried. Sara had been placed in a monitored situation and assigned to Vael as a ward, his responsibility, his study, the closest thing the council had ever produced to a genuine question about what they actually were, compared to what they had always believed themselves to be. She had not taken it easily. 7 years ago, when Vael sat across from her in this kitchen, yellow walls, the window overlooking the small garden where she grew things that refused to die under her attention, and told her everything, she was silent for a long time. She looked at her hands. She breathed in the deliberate way she had practiced since childhood, 4 counts in and 4 counts out, the way her mother had taught her, as if breathing were a discipline rather than a reflex. Then she had asked, "Does it hurt you? To watch us and never help?" That question confirmed everything Vael had suspected. Sara was more human than alien. 32 years of human love and human heartbreak had shaped her interior world in ways that 2 centuries of careful observation had not shaped his. And that was the real question the council had been avoiding, not whether humanity was ready to meet them, but whether they themselves were still capable of the distance the protocol required. In the 7 years since, Sara had been his closest confidant and his most frequent challenge. She worked as a social worker in the city's family services department, either coincidence or the most human thing about her, a vocation that placed her perpetually at the intersection of need and capacity. She sat across from parents who had failed their children and children who had survived their parents, and she moved through those spaces with a quality of presence her colleagues described as remarkable. Vael recognized it as something else, the gravity of someone not entirely of this world who has chosen this world anyway. She knew about Amora. He had told her, another small violation, accumulating. She had listened, poured tea neither of them would finish, and said, "Good." Now she sat across from him again. Outside, November rain. The kitchen light made her look warmer than she felt. She said, "The detective came back." Vael's expression didn't change. Not concealment, his face simply registered information differently. Filed it rather than displayed it. She said, "Mira Santos found me through the clinic's community liaison records. She asked about you. About a pattern she had noticed across several years of cases. She was very careful about what she didn't say." Vael asked what Sara had told her. Sara looked at her hands. The deliberate breath. 4 counts in. She said, "I told her she was right. Not about you, specifically. But right that something was there. I told her to keep looking." The kitchen was very quiet. Vael said, "You understand what you've done?" Sara said, "I understand what we've been doing. For 200 years. And I think we've been doing it wrong."